Close your eyes for a second and picture your morning commute. The coffee in the cup holder. The hands at 10 and 2, or maybe one thumb on the wheel. The constant, draining dance of watching the brake lights ahead, checking the blind spot, scanning the crosswalk. Now, erase the driver. Erase the steering wheel. Picture yourself in that same car, but you're reading a book, answering emails, or just watching the world glide by as the vehicle moves with a silent, fluid intelligence of its own. This shift from human driver to passenger in your own life isn't a futuristic fantasy. It's a technological revolution barreling down the on-ramp right now, promising to reshape our cities, our time, and our very concept of freedom. But this is about so much more than just cars. We are re-engineering the very idea of movement from the ground up. Welcome to the great renegotiation of our relationship with the road. For over a century, the personal automobile has been the ultimate symbol of American independence. It represented freedom, individuality, and control. But that freedom came with a staggering cost. Every year, over 40,000 people die on American roads. The vast majority of these tragedies, a shocking 94%, are attributed to human error. A moment of distraction, a misjudgment, fatigue, impairment. We have accepted this as the unavoidable price of mobility. But what if it wasn't? What if the machine, unblinking, unfailing, and endlessly patient, could drive better than we ever could? This is the foundational promise of the autonomous vehicle, to reclaim our time, and most importantly, to reclaim our safety. The journey to a self-driving car begins with perception. Humans drive with 2 eyes and a brain that's easily distracted. An autonomous vehicle sees the world with a superhuman suite of senses. It's like giving the car a 6th sense, and a 7th, and an 8th. The core of this perception is a combination of technologies. Lidar, which spins on the roof like a cautious eye, fires millions of laser pulses every second to create a precise, real-time 3D map of the environment, seeing the exact shape and distance of every curb, car, and cyclist. Radar units, often hidden behind sleek plastic, pierce through fog, rain, and darkness to track the speed and trajectory of objects all around the car. And high-resolution cameras capture the world in vivid detail, reading street signs, traffic lights, and the subtle body language of a pedestrian who might step off the curb. But raw sensor data is just a flood of noise. The real magic, the brain of the operation, is the artificial intelligence that processes it all. This is where the staggering complexity lies. Through machine learning, these AIs are fed millions of miles of driving data, every conceivable scenario. From a plastic bag blowing across the road to a child's ball bouncing into the street, the system learns. It builds a probabilistic model of the world. It doesn't just see a bicycle. It understands that a bicycle is a vulnerable road user, predicts its likely path, and calculates a safe buffer. It doesn't just see a yellow light. It computes the stopping distance, the traffic behind it, and makes a decision in milliseconds that a human might second guess. This AI is the driver. It never gets tired, never gets road rage, and never looks at its phone. Now, autonomy isn't a simple on-off switch. Engineers and regulators talk about levels, from 0 to 5. We're familiar with level 2. Already that's your advanced cruise control and lane-keeping systems in many new cars today. They assist, but the human must remain fully engaged, hands on the wheel, eyes on the road. The leap we're witnessing now is to level 4 autonomy. This is where the vehicle can handle all aspects of driving in a specific geofenced area like a city's downtown core or a defined stretch of highway. If the car encounters something it can't handle, it can safely pull over. The human is now truly a passenger. Level 5, full autonomy anywhere, in any condition, is the final elusive horizon, a moonshot that may still be decades away. The focus today is on making level 4 a safe, reliable, and scalable reality. But the transformation doesn't stop at the asphalt. Look up. The next layer of this revolution is taking to the skies. The concept of flying taxis, or eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, is moving rapidly from comic books to corporate balance sheets. Imagine a world where your ride to the airport isn't a stressful bumper-to-bumper crawl in a car, but a serene 5-minute flight in a quiet, electric, pilotless aircraft that takes off and lands from a vertiport on a rooftop. Companies from Joby Aviation to Archer to major aerospace players are building these machines right now. They look like a cross between a large drone and a small plane, with multiple rotors for vertical lift that then tilt forward for efficient winged flight. They promise to unlock the third dimension of our cities, turning a two-dimensional traffic jam into a three-dimensional traffic solution.
Oh.
The challenges are immense: traffic control, noise, infrastructure, public acceptance, but the potential to redefine urban geography is profound. And let's not forget the unsung heroes of global commerce: trucks and ships. The highways of America are the arteries of our economy, and they are manned by drivers facing immense pressure and fatigue. Autonomous trucking is advancing in parallel with self-driving cars. The technology is particularly well suited for long, monotonous highway stretches, the middle miles. A convoy or platoon of autonomous trucks could travel inches apart at highway speeds, drafting to save fuel, communicating instantly to brake in unison, and operating nearly 24/7. This doesn't eliminate the human driver. It redefines their role. Drivers could become fleet managers, handling the complex first and last miles in city centers, or monitoring multiple vehicles from a control center. On the high seas, autonomous shipping is beginning to stir. From ferries in Scandinavia to cargo vessels, ships are being equipped with sensor suites and AI to navigate, dock, and avoid collisions, reducing costs and increasing safety in one of the world's most demanding professions. Then there's the concept that pushes the very limits of ground transportation: the Hyperloop. Conceived as a modern reinvention of the pneumatic tube, it's a vision of passenger or cargo pods hurtling through near vacuum tubes at airline speeds, over 700 miles per hour. By removing air resistance, the Hyperloop promises to make trips like Los Angeles to San Francisco achievable in under 30 minutes. It's a radical rethinking of the railway, blending the speed of flight with the on-demand nature of a subway. While still in the prototype and testing phase, with enormous engineering and regulatory hurdles ahead, it represents the extreme end of our ambition. Not just to automate the wheel, but to reinvent the rail. Here's the wild part: the truly transformative implication of all this technology converging. We are moving from a model of vehicle ownership to a model of mobility as a service. Why own a car that sits idle 95% of the time, depreciates in value, and requires insurance, maintenance, and parking? In a future dense with autonomous vehicles, you might simply summon the right vehicle for the right trip. A small, efficient pod for your solo commute, a larger van for a family weekend trip, a specialized delivery bot to bring you groceries. These vehicles would be in near constant use, flowing through cities like shared blood cells in a circulatory system. Parking lots, which can consume up to a third of a downtown space, could be repurposed into parks, housing, or shops. Traffic could smooth out as vehicles communicate with each other and with smart city infrastructure, moving in synchronized harmony rather than the stop-and-start chaos of individual human reactions. The potential benefits are staggering. Safety is the North Star. If the technology matures as promised, we could see a reduction in traffic fatalities by 90% or more, saving tens of thousands of lives every single year in the US alone. For the elderly and disabled, autonomous vehicles represent a monumental leap in independence, offering freedom of movement without reliance on others or on inadequate public transit. Productivity and quality of life could soar as commute time is transformed from a stressful chore into useful or restorative personal time. And the environmental impact could be significant, especially as these systems are built around electric powertrains, optimizing routes to reduce energy waste and congestion. But this future is not a guaranteed utopia. It is paved with monumental challenges that go far beyond the engineering. The ethical and legal dilemmas are a minefield. In a critical, unavoidable crash scenario, how does the AI choose between two terrible outcomes? Who is liable when a fully autonomous vehicle is involved in a collision? The owner, the manufacturer, the software coder? Our entire legal and insurance framework is built around human driver liability, and it will need a complete overhaul. There is also the massive question of jobs. Millions of Americans drive for a living: truckers, taxi drivers, delivery personnel. The transition to autonomy must be managed with incredible care, with retraining and social support to avoid devastating economic dislocation. We must guard against a new digital divide, where autonomous mobility is a luxury for the wealthy and connected, while others are left behind. Furthermore, The sheer complexity of the real world presents endless edge cases for the AI. A police officer waving traffic through a broken light. A snow-covered road with no lane markings. The unpredictable chaos of a live animal, a fallen tree, or a construction zone thrown up overnight. Teaching a machine not just the rules of the road, but the infinite exceptions and nuances of human-driven society is perhaps the hardest problem of all. We stand at an inflection point, as significant as the transition from horse to automobile. For over 100 years, we have been the drivers, the masters of a powerful but dangerous machine. Now, we are learning to become partners with a new kind of intelligence, one that may ultimately prove to be the more responsible steward of our journeys. This is not about surrendering control, but about upgrading it. It's about trading the exhausting, dangerous task of operating a machine for the freedom to simply enjoy the ride. The road ahead is long and winding. It will require not just technological genius, but philosophical courage, legislative wisdom, and a profound public conversation about the society we want to build. The vehicles are being tested. The software is learning. The infrastructure is being imagined. The great renegotiation has begun. Will we embrace the passenger seat? The answer will determine the landscape of our cities, the quality of our time, and the safety of our streets for generations to come. The engine of this future is no longer just under the hood. It's in the code, in the cloud, and in our collective choice to let go of the wheel.